Hi, welcome to Poppa Paints. My name is Poppa. My real name is Larry. Normally on this channel I paint a picture and pretty much that's it. But today I wanted to share something really cool with you. I took a collection of some of the paintings I've done and I uploaded them to ChatGPT, the AI program, and I asked it, it's so weird, but I asked it, could you write a story based on these pictures? I know a lot of people are doing the exact opposite. They're sending a story and asking for pictures. So in my case, I sent some pictures and asked for a story. So it sent me back this story, which is kind of just a narrative, which is kind of nice, I think. And so I read it, I narrated it, and I had to edit some of it because some of it didn't make any sense. I mean, it made sense in its own context, but it didn't make sense up against the paintings that I had uploaded. Anyway, I was kind of impressed, to be honest with you, with what it sent me. So I read what it sent, narrated it, and then I used some music from a gentleman named Jimmy Kerr, Kerr, and I got that music off of the YouTube creator music category. They have something on there, and so what you're about to see is the end result. It's about just under 8 minutes long, and it's my paintings narrated by me, but the words I'm reading are written by ChatGPT AI. It's kind of awesome, and the beautiful music is Jimmy Kerr. So so the three of us, two humans and one robot. Well, I have two parts here. I'm the artist and I'm also the narrator. So I have two credits. Jimmy Kerr did the music and AI did the writing of the words I'm about to read. I don't know. We live in a different world now. I don't know what you think about AI. I don't know. I've got mixed feelings about it myself. I'm just having fun. So, all right, here it is. Hope you like it.
The old road into town hadn't changed much, though the trees on either side had grown thicker, wiser. I parked the car by the wooden fence that once leaned too far forward, the one we used to balance on like circus performers in bare feet and bravery. I stood still for a moment, letting the breeze find me, as if it, too, remembered the boy I once was. A path curved gently toward the meadow where the light always felt like a blessing. That's where I saw her. Not someone I knew, but someone familiar. A little girl cross-legged in the grass, watching the dandelions sway and waiting for nothing in particular. I had forgotten how good it felt to have nowhere to be. I kept walking, past the great tree that had fallen in the storm of '82. Two children, a girl in pink shorts and another in a green jacket, were testing their courage on its crooked limbs. I smiled. We had done the same thing once, whispered dares and scraped our knees. Beyond the grove was the little pond. I could hear laughter, the splash of childhood skipping rocks and reaching too far with sticks for minnows. Two girls crouched by the edge, one steadying the other with her hand, both discovering how ripples can carry secrets. Near another quiet pond, a girl leaned close to the railing, fascinated by golden fish swimming below. Her arms stretched wide in a greeting only children and sunlight understand. Farther on, near the water tower, I saw them again. Or others just like them, feeding ducks with bits of bread, one child holding out her hand in trust as a white duck gently took the offering. The whole world seemed to pause with her. Down by the riverside, geese wandered like old friends and small voices giggled through the trees. One child waved hello while another crouched low to see how close they could come. The town had changed, sure, but the memories lived on like echoes, clear as sunlight through trees. Near the corner shop, I passed the red Coca-Cola machine that stood like a sentinel from the past. Two children stood in front of it, a boy in overalls offering a coin, a girl with messy hair holding a secret smile. Deals were made there, silent promises sealed by grape soda and sticky fingers. Behind the shop was the fire hydrant, and oh, the summers I knew. Children burst with laughter as the cold water fanned out over the pavement, their shadows dancing in the spray. A little farther on, a bench overlooked the river. Two children sat side by side, their feet dangling just above the water. No phones, no noise, just questions and dreams whispered in the wind. Nearby, another pair knelt at the water's edge, tossing pebbles and wondering if fish understood friendship. There was a girl crouching low beside a sunlit stream, her fingers trailing in the shallows, catching sunlight more than water. The sun began to sink low. On the beach, children ran with kites, their laughter high and wild. A mother stood beside her child, guiding the string, releasing it gently into the sky. It made me think of how we learn to let go. First the string, then the hand. On another shore, further down, two children built castles in the surf, their reflections dancing in the wet sand. And at dusk, three girls twirled into the waves, silhouettes of pure joy beneath a gold-drenched sky. In the distance, on a hill, three girls played in a field of flowers. Their laughter swirled like petals caught on the breeze. A younger child, wild-haired and radiant, offered a bouquet to no one in particular, maybe to life itself. Another girl ran freely through a meadow, her dress billowing like a sail, her face lifted toward the sky. In that same field, a girl in a blue dress held a red apple and a secret smile, as though she knew the stories of the land and held them gently in her hands. The road led back into town, where I passed a stone wall bathed in golden light. A woman sat there quietly, surrounded by blooming color, as if God himself had painted her rest. Back behind the chapel, a woman leaned close to a young girl with a mirror, checking her smile, perhaps reminding her that it was perfect just as it was. And always, always the light, glancing off shoulders, bouncing off water, wrapped around memories like ribbon. A pink bicycle stood against the cottage wall, as if waiting for the next adventure. I could almost hear its bell. In the woods, beams of light filtered through the trees as two girls reached up, maybe chasing fireflies, maybe trying to hold on to time. In the quiet corner of the park, two girls in bright jackets stood hand in hand beneath a spray of pink blossoms, heads tilted as if listening to the hush of falling petals. A boy, determined and proud, balanced on one foot at the edge of a wide fountain, arms out like wings, believing for a moment he could fly. I sat on the chapel steps and breathed in the air of all I had been: the barefoot boy, the kite flyer, the flower gatherer, the quiet watcher of ducks. All those moments had happened once, and in some way they were still happening. Because in this town, in this heart, joy still grows. And I had finally come home.